This is an absolute heist for the New York Yankees, as recently there has been a lot of discussions about the Yankees not using some of their prospects because of their insane depth this season and why they should trade some of them off for current stars that will help the team now. And this is a heist for the Yankees, and we're going to break it all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Yankees Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always because we have a great video. Let's do this thing. Guys, if you're part of that 74% that's not subscribing, you guys have been killing it with the likes, the subscribe, the views recently. I really appreciate it. We're on that grind, getting videos out every day. You don't want to miss out on all the great New York Yankees content. So let's jump into this. We have a lot to talk about on the New York Yankees. As we know, the Yankees have a very deep team this season. I mean, they have 4 outfielders who are very legit. We just saw Jason Dominguez hit 3 home runs, one of them being a grand slam. And he's not even an everyday player because 2 of the top 10 in MVP rankings right now, and Aaron Judge, who's going to win MVP, and Trent Grisham, are both in that outfield. Meanwhile, Cody Bellinger is a $25 million man who's getting reps as well for being an elite fielder and a good base runner, despite the fact that his hitting has been up and down this season, mainly down, but recently getting a little bit better. On top of that, we've seen guys like Giancarlo Stanton getting ramped up, and there's a whole big discussion on what's going to happen there. That's my last video. This is inevitable. Make sure to check that one out as well, because there's great content on that whole situation with Giancarlo coming back, Ben Rice being that DH. Obviously, there's Paul Goldschmidt and Austin Wells stuff, considering the fact that Ben Rice could play first base or catcher. So there's a lot in that video as well. But we're seeing the New York Yankees. They have a bunch of players on this roster and not enough spots to play all these talented guys. And when you consider the fact that they also have a bunch of prospects who have been in the Yankees farm system for a couple of years now and are ready to take that step up and get to that MLB level and have even been there in the past, there is a lot to consider with this team, and that is why there has been so much discourse about the New York Yankees trading some of these prospects off in order to move on and find new talent for this current roster in positions of need. For instance, starting pitching, which is the biggest position of need right now. I mean, we look at the New York Yankees and their starting pitching thus far this season, and what we're seeing is Max Fried, who is going to win the Cy Young Award. We're seeing Carlos Rodon, who after 3 bad starts has been absolutely incredible for the New York Yankees, leading the American League in strikeouts. On top of that, you then look at guys like Will Warren, who have struggled mightily, Carlos Carrasco, who got DFA'd, Clark Schmidt, who's still trying to find his way back after getting hurt and coming back from that. We've seen Marcus Stroman, who's down with an injury. It also was 11.57 ERA, which is awful. And then Ryan Yarbrough, who started a game and will continue to start games now that Carlos Carrasco's out. Yarbrough will be the guy for all situations when we're looking at a bullpen game as well. So we'll see him. But the Yankees pitching rotation, it's top heavy. You have Fried, you have Rodon, and that's kind of where the good stuff ends. Luis Gil's coming back and Clark Schmidt's still getting there, so it'll help a lot. But you need another arm, and that is where the trade discussions have begun for this New York Yankees team. If the Will Warren experiment does not work out, which right now it's not, a career 7.71 ERA and a 5.65 ERA this season in 7 starts with a whip of 1.535 is not very good. He's got a negative WAR right now, and you look at Will Warren, and look, he got thrown into a weird situation. He wasn't supposed to be here, and then all of a sudden he's replacing the spot that Gerrit Cole left because he had to get Tommy John surgery. So understandably a tough situation for Will Warren. He's 25 years old. He can easily still bounce back this season or next season and completely get things under control and be the Will Warren that we're expecting. But we have a bunch of interesting topics to talk about with this team, with this trade situation. And it was mentioned by Sam Bernardi that should the Yankees lose faith in the Will Warren project, they could look externally for solutions. For all those Sandy Alcantara hopefuls, that is still a possibility. But perhaps Houston Astros star Framber Valdez makes more sense. And in a proposed trade, the New York Yankees would receive Framber Valdez in exchange for Everson Pajeda and Clayton Beeter, the number 12 and 20th prospects, respectively. So definitely an interesting trade. And one of the key things about this is Framber Valdez, look, man, that's another lefty arm that you're adding, which definitely does make things interesting. You still have 2 righties and Clark Schmidt and eventually Luis Gil, so you could kind of do an every other day situation or just figure it out, whatever works best for this New York Yankees team. But it is interesting to consider a guy in Valdez. Valdez has been the best pitcher on the Astros for the past couple of years. He's a low-end ace for this team. He's not exactly what you want from your best pitcher. They obviously had those 1-2 years where Lance McCullers was unbelievable, but that did not last, and quickly it became that Valdez was the best pitcher on the Astros. Now, yes, I know what you're thinking. Would the Yankees and the Astros ever make a deal? Well, they almost did already this offseason. We saw that happen. We saw the New York Yankees go out and really try to acquire Kyle Tucker from this Houston Astros team. Cashman wanted Tucker. He was really trying to get Kyle Tucker because then we'd all sort of forget about Juan Soto a lot faster, given we have already because the New York Yankees have Trent Grisham and they made the Trent Grisham trade. That Juan Soto was a throw-in or something involved. Who knows? Juan Soto, just some throw-in in the Trent Grisham deal. But in all seriousness, the Yankees did want to land Kyle Tucker and move him into left field, have Judge in right and Bellinger in center field. However, the price, and given they didn't have Cody Bellinger yet, but that was still a very likely scenario that the Yankees were going to get him. But Kyle Tucker ends up going to the Cubs. He's only there for 1 year, or maybe more if he re-signs in free agency, but he likely won't because the Cubs are trying to cut money. So the Yankees will get their chance in free agency at him. I do want him to be the main guy who they go after in free agency as well, and I actually expect it to be the case. I really hope it is, especially now with Vladdy gone. It's definitely going to be a hefty market for the services of Kyle Tucker. I want the New York Yankees to go insane for him and try to land him onto this team. But we'll see how that goes later. We know the Yankees also have a ton of interest in first baseman Munetaka Murakami from Japan. So there's a lot to talk about, but free agency is a while away. Summer's coming up. It's not winter meetings right now. We're enjoying summer baseball, so we're talking about that. And there's a lot of trade situations coming up as June is rapidly approaching. In June, July, that is when trade stuff gets very, very real for baseball. So we're seeing this situation really start to show up before our eyes. Now, Sandy Alcantara is the most rumored pitcher to go to the New York Yankees. The former Cy Young is having a straight-up awful year after returning from injury. He's got an 8.42 ERA, going 2-4 right now. It's a negative .7 WAR in 31 innings pitched, has a whip of 1.613. Now, here's the thing. The Marlins don't care. They're not going to lower his trade value and sell low on Alcantara. It's not going to happen. I know the thought is, well, let's buy low on Sandy Alcantara. I agree. That's what I would do. Marlins aren't biting. They're going to sell him off for the same price because he's who sells the tickets for the Marlins right now. On top of that, they're not going to sell low on a guy on a team-friendly contract who hasn't exactly said that he wants to leave the Marlins by any means. So it becomes this situation where you're still paying top market value for a guy who's pitching worse than Will Warren right now. And Will Warren's one of the worst pitchers on the Yankees pitching rotation right now. Again, no shade to Will Warren. I do think he can get it together. Same goes for Alcantara. I imagine he's just going to get back to being who he is and being that Cy Young level pitcher and all-star. But we'll see how it all goes. Look, for Valdez, things look a whole lot differently. Valdez is a 3.94 ERA. Not a great ERA, but not a bad one. His career ERA is better than that. He's got a .8 WAR, 2-4 in that span as well this season with 8 starts. Pitched 48 innings and has a great whip of 1.188, so the whip is good. There's a lot to think that maybe that ERA could get lower as time goes on as well. I would bet on it, and also on top of that, it just gives the Yankees another stable arm. Valdez's contract is coming up at the end of this season as well, so that lowers his value if the Astros do think they're not going to be able to retain Valdez, if they think he's going to walk. The Yankees can swoop in and be like, hey, we'll give you 2 good prospects in Pajeda, in Beater, and that should be able to get the deal done. I mean, you look at Everson Pajeda, he's having a great season in the minors, but he's an outfielder. The Yankees already have a logjam at outfield. What are you going to do? The only move that makes sense is to move on from him at this point. He has 7 home runs in his 23 hits. His batting average is a .295, and he's got an OPS of .941. When you look at the MLB stats, he's only had 93 at-bats at the MLB level, but they haven't exactly been promising. In those 93 at-bats, he has 14 hits. That's a 1.51, or, sorry, a .151 average. I always do that because I'm always thinking ERA, man. But the on-base percentage is a .233, and the OPS is a .427. All those numbers, not good at all. But he is a good base runner. He's an excellent fielder. That stuff does translate. Also, in that span, he has 10 RBIs of his 14 hits, which is a good look. A lot of people, myself included, do believe in Pajeda as a player. It's just a matter of him getting his reps, and that's not going to happen on the Yankees. So you sell him off to the Astros, a team that could use a little bit of a jolt in that center field area. It would make a lot of sense if you ask me personally. I think that's a good idea for the Houston Astros. On top of that, you also get Clayton Beater, who has struggled at the MLB level, has a 6.75 ERA this season in 5 games played, only 5.1 innings pitched. Also, that's minor league, sorry, not majors. But at the end of the day, he's been solid enough throughout his minor league career. He's got a 12-18 win-loss record in 83 starts. He's a 3.68 ERA. He's been solid. There's some hope that you could have that you can really get things going for the New York Yankees, and it would just make a lot of sense. So I like this trade for the Yankees. I think it's a complete heist. I think Brian Cashman will be pulling off a great move while thinning out a bit of prospects, but you're also thickening your starting pitching, which is important. You get that final piece of that pitching puzzle, and then you're good. I mean, you got Fried, Valdez, Rodon, Luis Heel, Clark Schmidt. It's a damn good rotation. Obviously, it's not what we thought we were walking in with, but it's just one arm shy of it, and that is Gerrit Cole. There's no replacing Gerrit Cole. Also, Eric Fetty's below the screen. Someone else the Yankees should go for as well, but we'll do a whole different video on that one. Guys, what do you think? Would you do this trade? Let me know in the comments down below you want to see the trade make. If you want to see the Yankees make a trade, let me know. If you don't want to see it, if you want to see them stick it out with this roster, tell me that too, and I'll be sure to respond. Guys, like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Go Yankees, and let's watch the New York Knicks get Game 3. Catch you later.